and welcome to Augsburg in Germany. It's World Cup 2. It's day 2 of the finals, and we've had some really exciting, dramatic, heartbreaking action this morning. It's been the K1 women and the C1 men. The course is, well, we'll find out about the course in a minute from my guests, who are Ros Lawrence and Jess Fox. Jess
0.05 of a second, so the smallest of margins, but I did have +6. So yeah, disappointing, but looking forward to watching these girls in action.
And Ros, we've lined you up a couple of days ago, so you've had plenty chance to know what you're going to talk about. The conditions out there, tell us what you see.
It's a bit of a cool and cloudy day this morning, which is a bit different to the heat we were experiencing yesterday. I think the
And the course, as you can see, 24 gates, 6 upstreams. World Cup's been hosted here. Clearly, as we all throw to Olympics, these are the standings after the first World Cup. So this is the in Prague, and now reverse order with penalties of where they finished about an hour and a half ago now. Ricarda Funk looking dangerous. Penny first off the block this year, and the rest of them are hard hitters with a couple of, well, actually no newcomers to be fair. A couple have been off the podium for the last couple of years or so. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a lot of girls who are very experienced. We've got Ricarda, her home course. We've also got, and Jana's very experienced. Fiona Penny, this is her first World Cup. She missed out on Prague. She decided to stay with Natalia from Poland.
Tell us what you see. Any moves that you think are interesting, challenging. Just talk us the way down the course, and we'll see. It looks like a good start.
Yeah, Natalia seems to be doing well. There are a couple of moves on this course where paddlers have to choose which side of the rock they will go off. Most of them have gone right of this rock at the top. It's a very challenging course, and Natalia is doing a really good job for it. And I think that's going to be really important today.
She's keeping the boat running here. Now she really needs to accelerate to get in high, which she's doing really well. This is looking like a good solid start. We'll see what side of the rock she picks. She's going right.
It's amazing, they're giving you choices all the way down.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of time in it. You know, some people chose left, others chose right, and there wasn't a major difference. She's getting a little bit stuck there, but a nice sweep up to exit out of that upstream.
I think we saw the Germans go right, if that was. As us amateurs, we're saying perhaps that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's always a good idea to follow what the Germans do, I guess.
They know the course well, and that's why they're so strong here.
Here, you're very close to the wall, aren't we? We actually saw a couple of athletes hitting the tips earlier.
Yeah, there have been some brutal rebounds. Hopefully we don't see any of that in the women's K1 final, but throughout the semis and the finals we've already seen there have been some huge mistakes across the board, so I think we're in for some excitement.
And here's, I guess, the crucial move of the weekend.
Yeah, she's been clean so far, a very tidy run, and this is the hardest move on the course, I think.
In the K1 men,
very nicely done.
Most of them tried to cut high, and I don't think we'll see that in the K1 women, but I'd be very excited if we did.
You know, I think we might see it. I reckon maybe Karina would have a crack at it. We'll see. It's definitely risky.
Can I put you on the spot here? Hypothetically, would you have done it, you two?
I wouldn't.
I don't think so. It's very risky. You know, we saw a lot of the guys take a touch, some of them completely missing it after a great run, so I think it's not worth it in this category today. I think we'll see some fast runs without taking that risk.
Well, we'll never know. And we now have Ursa Kaidel, who 3 or 4 years ago she was incredibly consistent.
Ursa's a very strong paddler and very smooth style. I think she almost looks effortlessly fast sometimes. She doesn't have the same style as Karina, who really charges. She's a bit more, I guess, fluid in her paddle strokes, and she's doing the top very smoothly.
We're coming up to a pretty key move here. The down in the eddy, there's a lot of time that can be lost. She's done quite well. That was kind of where I came unstuck.
She's run this up really nicely. And coming into this cross, up 10.
Will they have learnt much from watching the boys yesterday? Because obviously they had a chance to watch it real time and discover the videos overnight.
Yeah, I think they've got a day rest for those who aren't doubling up, where they can really analyse the course and see the best lines. And a lot of the men went right of that rock, and as we're seeing today, a lot of the girls are going right and they're going left in this next move here. She's negotiating this stagger really smoothly.
Then we saw a couple of problems coming down to the bottom with Kimberly Woods and Carolina Kujua. They basically missed 19 and 20.
She's up on this split, 1.5 seconds up, keeping it clean, really smooth.
That stagger is very tricky, and the water's moving so fast that you get punished for any mistake you make. But everyone's had a bit of practice on it through the qualifications and the semis already.
This is a really tidy run.
Time of reference, I suppose, in the first run was 1:07 from Ricardo Funk, so she's not going to be too far from there.
Go, 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 sprint to the finish. 109.23. That's a solid run. In the semi-final, that was good enough for a second place, so we'll see how they go. The rest of the girls coming down might have heard that time, they might have watched her run, and I think we'll probably see the time go under 106 today.
So it's one of those Red Bull athletes, which means they're either very, very good or very clever, or probably both. Vicky Wolfhard.
Vicky Wolfhard from Austria.
Vicky doubles up. She races C1 as well, and she's amazing at it.
And she was delighted with her run this morning. I don't know if you saw, because you're probably on the water or revving yourself up, but she looked absolutely thrilled.
She was just after me, so I saw her happy reaction at the end, and she's definitely attacking this run. We'll see how she's going on that first split, and she's 1.3 seconds up.
Gritting her teeth.
Ooh,
That was close.
They've given her a touch on gate 8. So with 4 seconds of penalty, she's really going to have to keep this bottom section smooth and flowing and attack it where she can.
Vicky's pulling really hard. She's a strong paddler, so it'll be interesting to see what her final time is, including those penalties.
And do you think there might be an advantage, it's a dumb question, having a possibility of going down in the canoes as well? I suppose you're more familiar with the water. Your personal experience suggests that it isn't. Oh, there's maybe a decision to make.
Close.
That was a very tight line on that gate. We'll have to see what the judges give her. She's definitely cutting the lines here, attacking it, going for it. I think there is an advantage to, I mean, people could see it two ways. Either it tires you out, or it is an advantage because you get the practice, you get the feel for the water, you try out the moves. And I think for Vicky, it's an advantage. She enjoys doing both. We'll see how she goes on this last move.
It's good to see Vicky pushing the lines. I'd like to see the women's K1 moving in that direction.
Unfortunately, they've given her a 50-second penalty on gate 16.
Which comes. So the line judge sitting down will look at it. If there's any contention,
A smile and a wave.
then it comes down to one of the spotters sitting in the office, and if there's any contention, they have super slow motions and a very accurate system. So most penalties are picked up.
Oh. So we're seeing the slow-mos of her penalties here. Gate 8, gate 9.
No doubt about that one. So next up is Mallory Franklin, who was close to you on the podium yesterday. She's such an accomplished paddler, isn't she?
Yeah, it's great to see Mallory in the K1 this year. She's been mainly doing a lot more C1 on the senior level and K1 just at under 23s, but really has excelled this beginning of the season with a 4th at the European Championships. And here she's attacking it. She's looking to go a little bit better than last week.
I read something a couple of weeks ago that someone had suggested she concentrates on C1, and she must have read it and said no.
I think they've been proven wrong in the last couple of weekends.
Look at that, half a second up already.
A very nice line under the bridge at the zoom flume there, and she's looking very smooth. She's very tall, and she's got long arms, so she can really pull hard on that paddle and get good extension. She's chosen left of the rock here.
If you go left of the rock, it makes the stagger above the rock a little easier. And when you go right, it makes it tighter. So there's a bit of a decision there for the paddlers to make which way they think will be fastest.
It's good, isn't she? She's starting to be very good.
Super nice up there.
That was awesome.
That was very fast.
She always looks so determined and always looks in control.
Yeah, she's very controlled and she doesn't look rushed in any of her strokes, which I think is really good. She's hit the wall there, but she's
1.6 up still.
Yeah, really nice run. Now
That's impressive.
Just needs to get through the last few gates, coming up to the crux move.
Mallory's been in so many C1 finals that I'm sure it's giving her a bit of a mental advantage racing in the K1 finals as well.
I suppose success breeds success.
Woohoo! This is going to be a really good time.
She took quite a lot of speed out of that. Well, we're coming to a new leader.
Oh, it's going to be close. Oh,
Completely rubbish, of course.
a very close run. But
she should definitely be happy with that.
Yeah, a very nice run by Mallory. She's been very consistent, clean, tidy, and I'm sure she's definitely growing in confidence.
A bit like Kimberly Woods had last week, and this week didn't actually work out. It shows that you top athletes, you're so much pushing it that sometimes you're brilliant and sometimes it doesn't quite work out.
Yeah, look, it's such a mental sport that things can change from week to week. But I guess the really good people are in the final and on the podium the most often.
Jasmine Schronberg, who came on a bike this morning at about 8 o'clock, looking determined now. She nearly ran me over, in fact, this morning.
It's the Augsburg way.
Well, local girl had success here in the last 2013-2014. Hasn't been the podiums.
Yasmin's really great on her home course, and she's usually cool, calm and collected. So I think we'll see a great run out of her.
They know this course the best out of anyone, and it shows on the zoom flume. She's kept the boat speed there, and she's coming into up 9 with a little bit of an advantage, 0.5 up on the leader, Ursula Krageld. Into the cross.
It's interesting they know the water, but this particular channel is known for being, it varies quite a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It surges a little bit. Sometimes you might come into an eddy and it's completely flat, and other times it feels like you've got a wall of water you've got to come out of. So it does vary a bit, but
especially how I was talking to David Florence earlier on the 13-14 course, and he said you have no idea where it's going to come until you actually hit it.
Yeah, but that's slalom. You've got to deal with it. You've got to adapt, and Jasmine's doing that really well. She knows this course, and she's going right of this rock to have a wide entry into the up, and I guess that makes it a little bit easier to not hit the wall.
Yasmin's got a huge crowd running down the bank after it. It must be giving her a great deal of energy.
Despite the weather, in fact the weather's better now, but here she comes in the last couple of moves. This is where Sebastian Schubert really had challenges yesterday.
She's lost a little bit of time into the entry of that up, but it all comes down to this move here and the sprint to the finish. If she can... Oh, getting a little bit caught there.
Right.
Another clean run though. We've seen a few clean runs so far.
You can see 109.
Not going to go into the lead. It'll be a provisional 3rd place.
What amazes me is so many of the Germans are having real big challenges on 22-23.
Yeah, I guess it's a move that, you could be having a fantastic run, but you've really got to stay focused at the very end. Often the last couple of gates are sort of a downstream sprint. At least that's what it was in Prague, while here, it all plays out in those last 2 gates. So we'll see how how the next few girls can manage that. Next up, we've got Karolina Galushkova from Czech Republic. She's a very dynamic paddler.
I hope we see some amazing sweep-ups out of Carolina. She's pretty good at them. She's also the daughter of
Here we go.
boat
Sweep up number 3.
manufacturer.
There's quite a lot of, there's very few athletes that don't have a family interest in this game.
It's definitely a family sport. I think Jess and I can both testify to that.
Oh,
Well, she didn't put the brakes on, did she?
she got caught out by that eddy. It's a very strong eddy line and can sort of dictate where it puts your boat, and unfortunately she's touched gate 7 as well, but nailed gate 8.
That was super fast.
See how she does on the rest of the course.
Going around the other side.
She's gone for the left side charge.
Is that exhausting, whether you have to really push the boat along quite a lot? I suppose your top athletes.
The left side of the rock, the water's moving a bit more slowly, so it is quite tiring to push through that side.
I think you've just got to, when you get to this point, really place the boat in the right position, breathe, control, make sure you stay clean.
Carolina has recently finished a degree in psychology, I think, so she should be good at the breathing and control.
Okay, well, she came 3rd here in 2014, so she knows what it takes.
Another touch has been given to her.
It's starting to be painful, isn't it? The 3rd position at the moment is Yasmin on 112.
3 gates to go. She's slowing the boat up here to get caught by the wave and surf it out, which she's done really nicely, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Those penalties are really going to hurt.
And it's quite a long last sprint, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it goes forever. When your arms are sore, when your arms are hurting, it is a long finish sprint.
It's not as brutal as the one in Prague.
Yeah.
Luckily for people like Sebastian Schubert, there's plenty of grass near the end, so when you throw your paddle, it lands softly.
I didn't see that. The girls generally don't get too angry at the end
I think
of
they
their
bottle
run.
it all up.
They bottle it up.
That lies.
You
Whereas
know.
as the sensible men, they release the pressure valve.
So sensible.
Karina Kunli, twice world champion, recent European champion, and has masses of experience.
She's in good form this season.
She's taking a tight line, gate 1 to 2. A little bit low in 3, but keeping the boat moving.
Connie is known for taking very tight lines and for being extremely strong, which is a good combination in slalom.
Everyone just talks about her raw power.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the fastest girls on the circuit, and her raw times are always very fast.
Look at that, a whole second up.
1.12 up. And a very tight entry into gate 9.
It's all European final. Can't often say that.
We like to do our best.
Choosing the right line at the rock.
I tell you what, there's a good crowd today. It's not full as it was in 1972, but there's a few thousand people here.
Yeah, I think the sun's come out, so the crowd has come with it.
It was always due, though. They actually said that it was going to come out at 2 o'clock, so it's a bit early. Anyway, here she goes. Looks clean so far. It is
Karina's
clean so
looking
far.
good. She's very clean. She's keeping the boat moving the whole time. Just had to brake a little bit there, but she's controlled. Nice sweep up there. 1.2 seconds up. She's still got a bit of lead.
And she knows how to close it out. She doesn't get nerves at the end, does she?
She might not, but everybody gets a bit of lactic, so we'll see what happens.
And nice and tight upstream. This is a really nice run. Coming into the last 3 gates. Let's see how she goes. Oh, she's missed that wave. Oh no, she really went a little bit too tight and didn't get caught by the stopper, so she's had to paddle back up and surf it out, which is a big time loss for Karina.
I love the competitive spirit when paddlers go back for the gate they've missed. It's easy to just kind of give up and float down, but Connie's showing great spirit.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen you. What are you talking about? No throwing?
Wow.
Anyway, you can understand the frustration there.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think should be disappointed with that. It was a very nice run, and I mean, we saw quite a lot of athletes yesterday do the same thing. coming into those last 3 gates, you know, it's not over till you cross that finish line.
And if you just tuned in, thank you for watching. Coming live from the Ice Canal, Jess Fox and Ros Lawrence are watching Jana Dukatova, who is as smooth as they come.
Sometimes it looks like Jana's paddling slowly because her stroke rate's quite low, but she is incredibly fast.
And she's done 2-3 really nicely, very smooth and efficient.
Down to the last, as you can see on the graphics, down to the last 3 paddlers now, so these are the fastest 3 with penalties in the semi-finals.
Very nice jump there. She stayed in the flow, so she kept her boat speed going, and she's 1.1 seconds up. So
I think it's consistent. The last 4 or 5 athletes have always bettered the time so far coming in the first split, which we didn't see in the men. We saw all the men pretty consistent.
this is looking really nice. Controlled, smooth. She's going left.
Jana's an incredibly experienced athlete, one of the most experienced in this final, I think. She's been consistently medaling over the years.
Woo.
And unfortunately, she claims old shoulder battles have put her out of the C1.
Yeah, she won the C1 Women World Championships in 2010. So it's sad that she can't keep going, but she's pretty amazing in the K1.
And she's got a 2.27 advantage over Usha Krageld. Let's see how she goes on these last few gates.
You know, she consistently medals every season, doesn't she? So it's not surprising.
Yeah, Jana's a very consistent paddler, a very smooth paddler. You know, often clean and tidy, and a little bit of trouble there, but got through that gate well, and now it's just down to the finish sprint.
Well, she did 1:10 in the semis. The best time in the semis is 1:06. The time to gate for today is 1:09.
I think we'll have a new leader. 1:08.62.
Puts herself on the medal table.
And she's guaranteed a medal with only Fiona Penny and Ricarda Funk coming down behind her.
What's lucky this weekend is you actually know where the camera is, because last weekend everyone had to sort of search where the camera was.
The next 2 paddlers have got very different styles to Jana and to each other as well. They're both very strong, good at sprinting.
Yeah.
Well, is it once or twice that Fiona Penny's been vice world champion? In 2014, she was beaten by a young Australian. I think she's done it before, hasn't she? Anyway, here she is, first event of the year. It was a choice to aim for her target this year, which she states is Pope the World Championships at the end of September.
Yeah, there's a lot of races this season, so some athletes will decide not to do them all. Others love the racing experience, and Fiona decided to stay home and train a little bit longer and come in fresh for Augsburg. And she's made the final, which is already an awesome start to the campaign, so we'll see how she goes. It's looking good for now.
Well, still very much in touch. So she's second fastest on the first split. Ooh, hit the bow.
It's a classic move in Augsburg. The walls are vertical and then eddies are very narrow. It's quite hard to avoid it.
I don't think she lost too much time there, and she managed the gate well because it got quite close, but she's still clean.
What I find interesting about Augsburg is there's masses of hidden rocks under the water, so sometimes it's actually incredibly shallow, isn't it?
Where Fiona is right now, actually, I hit my tail.
She's nailed that. It's very shallow in this move here, where people decide if they go left, they've got to watch out there for their blade here because it's super shallow.
That was good though, wasn't it?
But that was really nice. See how she goes against Jana's split.
But look at that, very
Still
much in touch. Because Jana lost a second to say in the bottom crossover.
I think Fiona will just be able to charge through that stopper at the bottom.
Well, let's see.
She's so strong.
She's doing such a good run, isn't she?
Very nice last upstream.
I think this is her 18th season or something like that, or maybe a few more.
Just sliding the boat down onto the front and
Whips out quickly.
She'll have a good sprint in her.
How much energy does she have left? The time to go for is 1:08.
oh, it's going to be close. No, it'll be behind. Fourth place.
Just missed it. Shows how close it is.
It is
Between
very
first
close.
and fourth is 1.11 seconds.
What's amazing is this final has been, very clean. Only 2 paddlers so far have had penalties.
So if she'd have had the winning time, would all the pain would have gone away? She looked in agony when she crossed the line. She was leading.
Something for the sports scientists to look into.
Okay, well, Ricky Funk, who is a lightweight but a very powerful paddler who knows this channel really, really well, and she won the last time out here.
Ricarda's one of my favourite athletes to watch. She's very dynamic, very smooth and powerful. And this is her home course, so the time to beat is 108.62. She did a 106 in her semi.
Look at the speed of that.
And wow, this sprint is already very impressive.
Well, the crowd have been revved up, the speakers revving them up, and the few hundred people are going to be following the action down.
She's in touch. She's ahead of Jana's split by 0.6 of a second. But as we've seen, it all happens down the bottom, so this is looking very nice, smooth.
Talking about pressure and how she said, well, it is an extra pressure. However, it's really wanting to do well in front of your friends and family.
Yeah, she has a lot of people running down, all her teammates, a lot of the local kids here who train here, and they're cheering her on, and she's on fire right now.
So far, she's put herself in the game.
Yeah, this is a very good run that she's pulling out so far.
Very controlled, very fast.
Well, 2 seconds up at the moment.
Oh, she's been given a touch.
I think often Ricarda has the speed to pull through even with a penalty.
Right.
She lost her edge there, so...
It all comes down to the last move, doesn't it?
Oh.
Is that the good angle?
There are quite a few different good angles. She's nailed it.
She's got this.
It looks like there's a medal. Just what colour is it going to be? Jana Dukatova, 108.62. Hey, well, there you go. Well, she's can cope with the pressure, that's right.
So 105 with a 2-second penalty, 107.67, 0.9 of a second in front of Jana Dukatova.
And there's the Slovaks trying to put a brave face on massive disappointment.
I think they'll still be happy
that they've seen a
to
competitor.
be on the podium.
Just before you go, just 'cause I know you're going to fly off, that's if little sister turns up. Yesterday's run was just unbelievable. How? Why?
Thank you.
Sorry, Des Fox won the C1 women by 10 seconds yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I had a bit of a wobbly semi-final, but I was happy to be in the final, and I guess I just attacked it in between all the gates. I did not stop paddling, and yeah, all the moves went to plan, and when that happens, it's such a nice feeling. So to cross that line and see the time was awesome. I was very happy with it.
Well, here we go, 107.67. So slower than the semi-final. Ricarda Funks takes the gold for Germany. Jana Dukatova, the silver for Slovakia. And Ursa Krajel has taken the bronze for Slovenia, with the Brits just missing out. Schomburg, Natalie Piechnik, Karolina Godskova, Karina Kunle, Victoria Wolfhart are all, well, the only real disaster was Victoria Wolfhart, who actually unfortunately took a 50-second penalty.
That was actually a very clean final.
Yeah.
Apart from those couple of penalties, compared to what we've seen in the other runs.
I know John Gregory, who does the ICF tweets and is the statistician, he was amazed how close the top women were to the top men in percentage-wise. So he was congratulating you. I think it said in the semi-final, the Ricarda's time 106 something was 110% of Vic Prindis's, which apparently is very, very good.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to get as close as we can to the men, and 110% is a very good time. I think generally we're around the 113 for a winning run, but getting faster and faster. I think the girls are taking tighter lines, and that comes by watching the men and learning from them and trying to copy them. We see a lot more risk taking. And Mallory, unfortunately, another 4th place, but that's still a fantastic result, and she will be very pleased with that.
Well, the bad news is we're going to lose a fox, and the good news is we're going to win a fox. Thanks so much, Jess, for coming in as ever. Sorry you didn't make it today, but thanks for the benefit of your experience.
Thank you for having me.
The World Cup standings after 2 races. Ricarda Funk, 110 points. Mallory Franklin, Jana Dukatova, Mylon Shuro, and you can read the rest yourself. There were 5 events altogether. The last event has double points. So Noemi just sitting down. Don't play with your hair because it actually makes the sound exaggerate. Okay, I'm putting you back on, but Ros, just sum up. Are you on there? Maybe a bit too loud.
Yeah, all good.
That's good. Hello, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming. Did you watch the last final?
Yes, I did. It was quite a big crowd cheering Ricardo on. So it's good to see all the German support, and she did a fantastic run, so credit to her.
These are the results of last week. So it's the results of the standings after World Cup 1. And Sidiris Tassiadis, who was the fastest in qualifications today, won last week. Matti Bennis, I believe, the second fastest, won second, as they say. It's pretty much stacked with familiar faces. David Florence missed out, Ryan Wesley missed out, Martin unfortunately didn't even make the semis, but the rest are fairly familiar faces. Here are the guys who absolutely sweltered a couple of days ago because they have these very thick suits on, they're very brave, but they unfortunately had no work to do, or good for them, had no work to do. These are the finalists today, and it's the reverse order of the times they came in the semi-finals. Slavkovski's back in the final. He's the European champion. Bozics is fast. Elisegi, hot and cold sometimes. Franz Anton, local knowledge. Matti Bennis is a living god. Savsek is really fast, and Sidiris Tassiadis is the favourite.
Yeah, so quite a good quality final, but of course there are some big names missing. But nevertheless, it'll be a good show.
Well, Denis Gagoshinu, who won gold at the Olympics, didn't quite make it. And I say we've mentioned Florence, and there's quite a few of the other top names who are just hovering around the last levels. What we did notice, talking to some of the athletes around this, is there's quite a lot of choices to make, and it's interesting to see, will they do something dramatic on 22, 23? We'll have to see. Roz, what are your thoughts?
Look, I think for a lot of them it'll depend on which side they're paddling on. I think for the lefties, they can go around that second last down with a bit of a sweep. For the righties, they'll have to duck under the pole.
Because the water's very shallow, isn't it? Because there's a big rock there.
Yeah, and it's moving quite fast, so you get punished if you don't do it very well.
Yeah, and it's hard to have a move like that at the end of the course when you're lactic and you're tired, and the whole run can depend on it. So at the end, it's also a bit of a mental game.
That moves right under the bridge as well, so you kind of like descend into the darkness.
And that's why, to be fair, we change the camera angles quite often, because yesterday we were showing the bridge, the up bridge, because it was just so bright going down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the Sven and all his team in the camera crew, they're doing a wonderful job in coordinating and making sure we use all the 12 cameras to the best of their ability. And it's Julian Archik from Slovenia, who has been around quite a while now. You saw he was 10th in the semi-final, so he's first to go today. 18th in Prague last week.
Yeah, and even if he's off first, he might be on the podium. You never know in this field. It's really open.
Yuri trains in Tartsin in Slovenia, and it's quite another quite surgy and difficult course, so I think he's used to this kind of water. And some would say that he styles himself off Mardikan.
Does he say that?
I'm not sure, I haven't asked him.
Okay.
I think a lot of people do, to be honest.
I must admit, I probably would if I started. Here we go. So 9 below 10, which was hasn't had that many problems, really, has it?
No, he's off to a really good start, and he's keeping the speed. And he's choosing to go left of the rock, so for some people they might think it's a little bit slower, but he's on a good line and he's keeping that boat speed, and it also has a good preparation for the upstream, which he did that move very well. And
that's the where the level's been really fluctuating, so it's been difficult to know what to do. Oops. Was that okay, do you think? Well, we'll see.
I think it was okay.
Yeah.
What's the actual rule?
Ooh.
The rule is you shouldn't hit a gate, because that gives you 2 seconds.
You have to have your whole head and at least part of the boat inside the gate line.
And the boat has to be above the waterline, doesn't it?
Ooh, so he's picking up a few touches. He slid onto the outside pole, but so he's a righty, so let's see how he maneuvers this part. And just having to fight back up.
It's almost a freestyle feature. There's so many
It
different
is.
things to do.
So you'll see the C1 men, they do it very well. They use their edge, and they have to have a lot of control. So good core helps you out.
Those penalties have been expensive for him on gate 17 and 20 there.
Yeah, so that's a bit... the fastest time in the semi was a 1:04 with quite a laid-back finish. So I'm not sure what the fastest time will be here, but that's a bit off the pace.
And Lenarchik, he came through in 1:09, so he's 3 seconds slower than he was in his actual semi. And we only saw 2 of the top 10 athletes actually take any penalties, which we've replicated in the K1 women. So Alexander Slavkovsky, great skier, good bloke, and not a bad paddler.
Yeah, he has an amazing smooth style.
And has the biggest umbrella we've ever seen. This morning it's a double-decker. Amazing thing.
You got to keep dry on race day.
Yeah, so I'm sure he has a good race preparation. He's been doing it for quite some time, and he's so smooth and such a great paddler to watch, and great reach as well. You can really see him reaching for the J of the Vader at the front of his boat. So.
Well, he won here Europeans, and he won here, I believe, in 2013. It was his first victory, and he was so delighted. But anyway, 1.36 seconds up. Well, that's a bit of a chance.
Yeah, and that's really hard in C1 as well when you butt into the wall like that, because your knees move forward, and it can be a bit difficult to get back into position. But he looks like he's on track.
And he's going right side.
Yeah. So there's that whole water movement that kind of goes right of the rock and then leads you to the next gate. So he's used the water feature very well. But
it's such a shame you don't have a camera on us, because the way you're demonstrating with your arms, the way they're going, is very good to see.
Oh,
anyway,
and
here we
he's
go.
gone right around this stopper. It's quite a wide line. It might take a little bit longer, but it gives a much smoother entry into the up.
And punting off the
good
side. Look at that, 2 seconds up with a 2-second penalty.
Yeah, so despite the penalty, he's on a smooth and solid run, and he's holding his form and keeping it together. And he's a righty, so let's see how he maneuvers his way down the stopper. Very nice.
Comes out quickly.
Quite hard in C1 when you can't paddle on both sides. But
Well, he's going to go in the lead. It's just a matter of, is he going to put something out there competitive? As you mentioned only a couple of seconds ago, the top time in the semi-finals was Sidiris Tasiadis with a 1:04, a relaxed 1:04. So he's slightly off the pace there. But he's down, he's safe. And he's thinking about something.
So in the final, sometimes we do see slower times, or sometimes we see a lot faster times. It really depends, but I guess he'll just have to play the waiting game now.
Who's next to go? Jonathan Mark, who hasn't been on the international scene for the last couple of seasons. As a French, you'll know him. In 2015, he had some good results.
Yeah, so he finished 5th in the French selection, so he's not in the A team. But the depth is quite strong in France, so anybody can be in the final.
If you're just tuning in, Denis Gagoshin just missed out at the finals.
Yeah, but he has a very nice technique. He's training in Po as well, so I'm not sure if he'll be at the next World Cup, but unfortunately he won't be at the World Championships later.
You Aussies, are you down in Po quite a lot this year?
Yeah, we're training hard for that World Pinnacle event this year, so a lot of people are based there.
We saw him just half a second off the slit.
So he's got a safe style, I would say. I don't really see him doing anything too radical or using his edges like his teammate Idam, but he does have a very solid style.
Are you just having a nap, boss?
Sorry. Jonathan trains in Australia through our summer in most years, so we get to watch him paddling quite a lot, and yeah, his smooth style is definitely something I'd be happy to copy. That was quite a dynamic stagger.
And choosing to go left of that little stopper rock, but he's a bit slower than Alexander.
Especially because he has effectively he's 3 seconds slower because he hasn't any penalties yet.
So he just has to keep his form and really save some energy for the final sprint. Oh.
All he has to do is...
Oh.
Was that a decision?
No, he squeezed in there, but...
2-second penalty. Where is he going to take the new lead? It's going to be close. No, he's wooing out.
Disappointed with that. But in the end, it is a good opportunity, final, and a lot to learn from.
I think we should put a graphic on next weekend. Beware violent reactions can occur. So 3 down And no one said it alight. Alexander Slavkovsky from Slovakia is leading.
That could have been worse. I think he managed that quite well.
I think it's one of the most difficult moves we've recently seen. It's just taking everyone, isn't it? Especially the Germans.
I think it just forces people to make a decision. If you take it steady, then it's not too hard. But if you try and make up time there, then it's a big risk and it can pay off.
Luka Bozic, who last year was serving his interest of the C2, now he's concentrating on the C1 and a really cracking paddler.
It's really impressive actually to see some of the C2 paddlers have converted across to individual events, and they're amazing in both classes.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how that pans out in the next couple of years, because at the moment the Frenchies and the Czechs are massively still into their C2, and why not? Anyway, he's 0.14 down, but looks determined.
Lost a little bit of time there, but his top was smooth, and I think you can make up a lot of time at the bottom of the course. He's choosing to go left as well, so he's really going to have to use those muscles and sprint a little bit because the water is slower on that side of the rock.
A bit of a hesitation coming on there, was it just setting himself up?
He goes for the punt. That's always an exciting move to see.
Yeah.
I think in the C1 men, the staggers are becoming more and more dynamic as they cut the lines faster and duck under the poles. The boats are getting easier to turn and narrower.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, that's a difficult one. We did see Kimberly Woods do the same earlier.
Yeah, so they didn't hesitate in putting that 50 there. I'm sure they'll do a video review of that, but it didn't look too promising. Aside from that, it was quite a solid run, so he'll be
it's a
kicking
shame
himself.
he was looking so consistent.
See how we are. As I say, there's so much frustration because we haven't actually seen the perfect run yet. Well,
so he
doesn't want to believe it.
Doesn't want to believe it.
That would have been a very
The truth
fast
can be
run
harsh
without the
sometimes.
50.
Anyway, it's not our decision to make.
Sometimes it's quite hard when you're the paddler to know exactly where you were in the gate until you see it on the video.
I'll tell you one thing. I spent about half an hour yesterday in with the judges, and they do such an amazing job. First of all, they don't know as a team. They don't know who's going down, so they don't make a qualitative judgment. They just watch the actual results, and there's 3 or 4 of them trying to check, and it's such a close line sometimes. Anyway, here we go. It's Jørge Badua going for Norway.
Jørgush used to paddle for Slovakia, but now paddles for Norway. He has the amazing C1 style that so many of those great Slovak C1s have. He's a little bit younger, but I'm super excited to see where he goes with his paddling. And he is pulling hard for this final.
Yeah, you can see the Slovakian blood. They have such a good quality C1 men. The field there is incredible.
He's looking just a little bit off the pace there.
He manages to really keep the bow down in that upstream, gate 9, which is super important. The water is very surgy there, so he's doing a good job. And he's choosing to go left as well.
Jørge has incredibly long arms, so he gets a lot of pull out of each stroke. He lived with me a couple of summers ago, so I might be a little biased.
And why does he compete for Norway?
His parents are from there.
Yeah, he's got family from Norway, and I guess it's an opportunity for him really to get on some extra start lines. There's quite a lot of great C1s in Slovakia, and even though he will hopefully eventually be at that level, it can take quite a while to overtake.
So it's an honest choice.
So 107 is still at the top of the podium for now, and he's a bit behind on the split. And so I think it might stay on top.
So you'd say this is still
grunting, and he goes through clean, but he's quite...
Well, no one's managed to perform as well as Sirius Tasiadis has. Where's he going to be finishing in 3rd place at the moment?
Yeah.
Well, he's done really well to make the final, so I think he should be pretty happy.
Yeah, you can see the smile there behind the huffing and puffing. So next we have the Spanish paddler.
Let's hope he has a good run.
Yeah, we'll see. I do like Anders' style as well, and it's funny to see his teammate is a little 16-year-old or 17-year-old that's pushing him along. So they're good paddlers in Spain.
Well, he's a cracking paddler, isn't he? He's a multiple Olympian. I'm really talented. But just a word to the TV guys: if he doesn't do well, probably don't film the end.
Andrew is a really lovely guy off the water, so sometimes I find it hard to connect the dots.
And he's carrying so much boat speed through those top staggers. So first split. Ooh.
He's got a little bit tight there and ended up hitting the pole.
But you can see how he leans forward to keep, oh no, and another touch on gate 9, that's costly. But he's keeping the speed, he's keeping the pace.
And of course we'll see him on home water with the World Cup final coming up in the end of August.
Double points up for grabs. I'm sure he'll be on top of it there.
So next weekend, Magdeburg, which is Leipzig, which is also in Germany. Then there's a bit of a break, and then after that it is Ivrea, which successfully hosted one of the World Cups last year, and then move on to Liceo. So a little bit off the pace. He's actually quite fast, isn't he? Because he has lots of touches.
Ooh.
So his wall time is good.
Keeping it very tight on the poles, and unfortunately it's a bit. Ooh, see, that was interesting.
Well, he's leaving nothing out there, is he? He's really going for it.
Yeah. But yep, he's been very tight on the poles and unfortunately copying the penalty for that. Oh.
Another two.
But what's good to see is that he's charging down, he hasn't given up, and he's still fighting, and that's very good team spirit. So it's what we like to see.
He's shown that he has the raw speed in a lot of places, so when he puts the run together, it's very impressive.
Yeah.
But there's no one killer move. I suppose that's why he manages to control. Franz Anton next to go down.
Yep, so a German, so we'll see the big crowd charging down.
I was asking yesterday, I said to Juanes Anton and Jan Benzien, who are clearly based in Leipzig, I said, have you been training here all winter and you must be inside knowledge? And he said, no, it's the first time we did our run yesterday.
I think the Germans have all trained and raced here a lot over the years, so even though they might not have been here a lot recently, they still know all the secret moves on the course.
Yeah. Franz is a top-level medal winner, as you can see here.
In both the C1 and the C2.
Exactly.
Which is
He's still young now. He's been around an awful long time.
He just got married last year. So it's
new chapter.
Yeah.
And he's also a great photographer.
Yeah, he does some amazing work of all the paddlers.
But above all, he is an incredible paddler, so let's see what he can do today.
So he's in the bow of his C2. And he's 0.8 up.
That down in the eddy can be difficult to get out of on the right, but he's done an awesome job.
Very fast. 9:10, probably the speediest we've seen so far today in the final.
Well, he has a huge stroke rate, doesn't he? He's a lot
yeah, he's
slighter
hard.
than a lot of the really lanky ones we've just seen. No, don't do that, please.
But the Germans are known for pulling really hard.
Yeah.
They're a very strong nation as a whole.
Whoa! Oh no!
That was so close to being beautiful.
So that's just one of the risks in C1 especially. It's a lot harder to do sweep ups or just those tight inside pole upstreams.
But he's still fast there despite that.
Yeah, he's still ahead.
He's picked up time in quite a few little places, I think.
There we go. Pulling hard and really leaning forward. You can see the reach there. He's exaggerating it.
Well, he's certainly doing a slalom. We go last move.
The commentator on the course is very excited for him.
And the fans are as well. Well, he's successfully negotiated that. There should be some space here. 1:07:31.
Oh, wow.
You can see he's fighting, and just.
Great news. And the fans like the bit of that.
So far, the first two places, the first three have all got a penalty. So if someone can go clean, they stand a good chance of going in ahead of that.
And look at the three to go. Mate Benes, Benji Savchek and Sidiris Tassiadis. They're two of the fastest and one of the most local knowledge medalists ever.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fascinating.
I'm interested in hearing what their song selections are.
Yeah, tell us about
No,
that.
I can't actually hear anything, but
So the Germans, before they
The-
go down, they chose the songs they wanted to be put on the system.
every athlete that's a finalist. So yesterday, Vit Prindish, his winning run was Barbie Girl. So there were quite a few interesting selections.
What would you two have chosen?
Well, they actually gave us all a form and got us to pick a song before they knew who was in the final, and I put a Rat-a-Tat song down.
So let's see how Matej is going. He's actually had to take off his fins from his boat, so he's adapted very quickly to his new feel and design.
Hence, there were 11 finalists last week. He's 1.96 down at the moment.
I bet he's one to quickly pick up that time and gain time down the bottom as well.
Now they're very tall, very angular athlete.
Yeah, and
Very tight on those staggers.
Mate's long limbs mean that he can have quite a smooth style and still accelerate a lot out of each stroke. It's really pretty to watch.
Yeah, he has incredible reach and power as well. He's definitely a C1 master.
And he also he won some race a few weeks ago in Wildwater.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Me neither.
And he's another
at that,
another
300
righty
up.
that opted for the punt to gain extra speed.
Well, to fair play, the speakers are really giving a good cry. Not
I think
one
the Germans
single
will be sweating.
spectator is actually cheering. They're all standing there, arms crossed.
I
And
think
that's
they'll
good.
be rooting for the Germans, but he
That was
is
good,
giving
wasn't
them
it?
a run for their money.
That was
He's-
really good. He's certainly going to go to first place.
That was a super exciting run, starting a bit slow on the slip, but picking up time down the bottom.
No, that's good.
That's
yes,
very
and
fast.
he's very satisfied with that run.
It's so nice to see a happy paddler at the end of the run.
Yeah, it's
He
a good
wasn't,
feeling.
he wasn't too talkative at the end of his semis. So
He's a man
in
of
the
few
zone.
words, I think.
He is.
But super lovely.
But he also spends a lot of time in Australia, doesn't he?
He does. A lot of the Slovaks like to come and train in Australia in the summer. We love having
Escape
them
the
there.
winter. But I guess it is hard to adapt to 44 degrees as well.
There's a Slovak team, they're very happy. Yeah, some of the paddlers come from minus 30 to plus 45
The
in the
temperature
Australian
change
summer.
is extreme.
Benjamin Savchek, another flyer here.
Unfortunately, a touch on gate 2, so let's see how he'll recover from that.
He always had the reputation of being incredibly fast but taking a lot of risks. And then last year he seemed to put them both together.
Yeah, look, everybody's always evolving their style, and when there's something that you need to work on, as soon as you can get it sorted, you know, it's great, it'll pay dividends.
Tight.
And he knows there's nothing to lose as he knows he has the early penalty, so he's only slightly off the pace.
We've seen with Benush that a mistake early on the course didn't really affect his results, so who knows what Shostak will do.
And keeping it tight on those staggers and going down the left. And you can see how physical it is to paddle on the flat mid-run and then hold the energy for the rest of the run.
And he's always one of the favourites in Tatson, so he's certainly not afraid of the big water.
He's looking very composed and he has a good trajectory
He's
so
going
far.
well.
I'll keep it simple. Oh, and whips it around, but +4.
Well, it's not too bad because it's 4 seconds of penalty, and Matti Benesh had no penalties. He was the second athlete to go down without any penalties. This is what it's all about.
Oh, no. Oh, but still in a good position and manages to get the gate and keep going and still fighting.
He didn't actually
Well,
lose
could
that
he-
much
could
time.
he-
there,
actually
did he?
lose that much
Take a
time.
medal. Could be in a medal spot there. No, just out. Well, it's not bad, is it? Having
hard,
having
and
a,
he's kicking
an
himself
Eskimo
for that.
turn and still within
And now
a point
the
of a
time
second.
has come for the local boy.
Won
Let's
last
see
weekend.
what show he has in store for us today.
What I was really amazed at, though, was last weekend. It was his first World Cup win.
Yeah, well, he won the overall World Cup in 2013, but his first individual World Cup title was last weekend, and I'm sure he'll be looking to repeat that in front of his home crowd.
Siddy's been training here in Augsburg since he was pretty young. Pretty excited to see what kind of run he's going to put down.
And I'm sure there'll be all the little kids that look up to him running down, cheering him on.
Olympic medalist, 4th in Rio, I believe, and this is a huge stage with lots of pressure. Lots of fun also, potentially, as Ricardo Funk showed.
You can often see Siddy on posters around the town as well. He's a bit of a local hero, not just amongst the paddlers.
And he's head down and charging. He wants this. So good start so far. Ooh, lost a bit of time but managed to...
He's faster on the split though.
Look at that point, 8-8 up as we speak.
Oh, and he did that cross very well.
Yeah, he's finished quite high.
Not
in that
much
gate.
energy, but good sprint. Oh, and you can see he is charging down the course. Like you said before, Oz, the Germans, they have this very specific sprint that they do. A lot of grunt is involved, but they really put their heart and soul into it.
Well, punting off the side, and he looks in a strong position so far, completely clear, knows exactly where he wants to go.
And he's looking cool, calm and collected. I don't think he's looked too uncomfortable at all at any point in this run.
Yeah, I think he knows when to apply the power, when to grunt, and when to really control and let the water do its job.
And as you can see, it's 1.85 up.
Well, this is a good run.
He's coming up to the crux move under the bridge, and I hope he nails it.
I know, I'm kind of holding my breath.
Well, a few thousand people are thinking exactly the same. Here it goes.
Oh, no.
It's all right. He's got more than 2 seconds up his sleeve.
Yeah, so
Boy,
he's
it's
really
going to
gonna
make
have
it
to
interesting.
use every single muscle
Just
in his
making it more
body.
exciting.
Matty Bennis has 104.90.
Oh, this is tight. This is
Oh,
tight.
it's so
This is...
close.
Oh,
Oh,
second.
moves into second.
So he's
That's still an
disappointed,
amazing
but
result.
you can see he's happy with that result.
Well, not too bad. 2 weeks in a row, gold and silver, providing there's no asterisks. We have an asterisk next to Benji Savchek.
That's very, very consistent. But we'll see there are only 2 clean runs in the final.
Yeah,
Benosh
so that's
being one of
funny
them.
because semi-final there were only +4 in total, so 2 touches, and I'm not sure if it's the final nerves or if people want to take more risks, but there are definitely a lot more penalties this time.
Well, that was fun.
But the clean run is on top of the podium.
It's always a good thing. Yeah, that was an exciting final. It's always good to have the last person coming down, pushing the leader.
Yeah.
I don't want to criticise you, but it's the second time in a row we've had an all-European final. You ought to have a word with your compatriots.
Well, you know what? Our Australian Dan Watkins
Did a great job.
He was so close to the final, and he's kind of only just changed over to C1. So we're happy.
Yeah, and it goes to show Dan paddled very calm, collected, and really used the water features, and he just missed out. So I think this was a course where you needed to apply power where it counted, so at the start, and then really use the water and be calm and composed and prepare for the gates because they do come at you very quickly.
Well, there you go. Here are the results as we have them with no asterisks, which is good, which means it stands. Matty Bennis takes the gold for Slovakia, Sidus Tasiadis takes the silver for Germany, and Franz Anton takes the bronze for Germany. Sorry.
2 Germans, so I'm sure the crowd will be happy, and we'll see what they can do next week as well, because that's the home course of Franz Anton and a few more German paddlers. So the show continues.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a lot of fun today. You see the crowd. Well, they're sticking around. There's some amazing, huge, great barbecues on offer here. This is the standings after 2 World Cups, and it's really close. Look at first and second each of them. 115 points. Franz Anton up there. Savchek's out there. So they're all big names.
Yeah,
Luka
very big
Bozic,
names.
David Florence, but plenty of space still to come.
The young Czech as well, sitting in 9th, so it's pretty
Well,
good.
Czechs had their own home World Cup, didn't they, last weekend? So this is coming to the end of the live broadcast. If you are a fan of watching the live, there's a bit of fun coming up later, which is the extreme slalom, which is effectively where they're in creek boats coming off about a 4-metre ramp, and then gently or ladily they try and bang each other out of the way.
It's good fun. Good way to vent out your frustration.
It's definitely an event where we see a bit of carnage, so it should be exciting.
But everyone has a smile on their face. Lots of disqualifications, lots of barging. That's going to be later. But today we've seen some really top-level paddling. Thanks for all the athletes. You actually just see how difficult it is and how much dedication they all give in. Thanks also to all the volunteers, all the judges who don't get much praise. There's an average day, there's about 9,500 decisions to make, and about 10 of those after exhaustive situation, looking at them, get overchanged. So it's an impossible task. You can't win.
Judging is a very tough job. You have to concentrate so hard for a little amount of time, and then there's a gap, and then you have to concentrate again for the next paddler. And yeah, you've just got to be able to see the tiniest little details. It's such hard work.
So that's in progress. Who else? Roz, thank you so much. This is your debut. Hope not to see you again in the nicest possible way.
Yeah, hopefully I never see you in here ever again.
No,
but I've enjoyed
thing.
it. Thank you.
Thanks. Both girls are studying media or have studied media, so if anyone wants to talent scout them, please feel free to contact them, and we'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. See you next weekend.